Scriitorul britanic Aldous Huxley spunea că după tăcere, cea care poate cel mai bine să exprime ce nu poate fi spus în cuvinte este muzica. Atunci când nu mai sunt cuvinte de spus, muzica vorbește. Despre durere, curaj și recunoștință, despre pierderi, reușite și speranță. Vorbește despre viață, așa cum e ea. Artiștii ucraineni Valeri Sokolov și Alexei Șadrin au concertat pe scena Filarmonicii de Stat din Târgu Mureș și au arătat că, deși nu vorbim aceeași limbă, înțelegem cu toții limbajul universal al omenirii. Înainte de concert au povestit cum viața lor s-a schimbat dramatic în urma războiului, dar și cum muzica a rămas o constantă.
I am very grateful that this opportunity was possible due to the recent difficulties in the life of my country, and having overcome those difficulties, I'm very happy that this concert is possible, because this is the first concert since the beginning of conflict which is happening for me, and I'm very glad it is possible physically.
We are also very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how the war changed your life as an artist?
Yes, sure. My life has been very connected to Ukraine, regardless of amounts of concerts and activity in the Western Europe, because I live half in Ukraine and in the West, and my musical activity has been, of course, mainly situated in Western Europe, but also very active in Ukraine. Well, all I can say is that it has changed dramatically, both life and both musical life has completely vanished at the moment from Ukraine, which was up and coming and learning a lot from the Western cultures, how to make things better in classical music. And I was the artistic director of Lemberg, so-called youth orchestra. It's a kind of untranslatable name, but anyway, I was very active part in the Western Ukraine, in classical music life there. So unfortunately, now everything has come to a stop, and young musicians are fleeing the country. Orchestras are having to do volunteer work instead of course, playing the things. But anyway, these are people who are patriotic and supporting their own country.
Valeri Sokolov s-a născut în 1986 la Harkov, un oraș grav afectat de bombardamente. După izbucnirea războiului, a petrecut câtva timp în țara sa, iar apoi a reușit să plece, ajutat de autorități.
I have spent myself until recently 1 month in Ukraine, and I have also tried to be part of the circumstance there, and having from personal to people that I know in general, in musical world, having done quite a few things for them to settle in the West, something totally new for them, Western Europe, so Germany, France, etc. So that's a very new experience for many people, and they have to do it. They not necessarily wanted to, but they have to do it. But, well, whilst I was there 1 month, I was completely having dramatic feelings inside of me, not only for the losses, but also for the whole country being just brought down, and it's a very tragic scenery and something which cannot really be replicated in a verbal context. So, in my personal life, I have lost almost both of my homes. So I would say I lost 80% of my living spaces. My flat was destroyed by air bomb, and my house was semi-destroyed by another air bomb. So I became homeless in 2 seconds. So, and I love those places, and I loved living in my city of Kharkiv, which is very heavily bombed nowadays. So that was also a special experience to suddenly have nothing in a space of 1 day in total. I have had very important international engagements, such as a concert with Philharmonia Orchestra in Bahrain for the Sultan of Bahrain, which was cancelled, and now, because of the war, it was cancelled. But the contracts were signed, so we were unfortunately having to, of course, put pressure on certain minister and stuff. And onwards, I have also very big concerts, and of course, Tirgumuresh is the next trip, which happened online. There was a lot of support from connections in Europe, and there was a lot of local support for myself, and I'm, lucky to be able to continue this journey. But of course, there was a lot of support, because at the normal times I did quite a lot of things for my country musically, so I managed to gather quite serious support there. This month has changed dramatically my personal life and my inner understanding of the world. But besides the material things, of course, most important is that the suffering of people, and at the same time completely unjustified crimes which are happening all over the country.
Alexei Șadrin este tot din Harkov și a cântat pe scene mari din Ucraina și din Europa, nu de puține ori alături de Valeri Sokolov. Povestește că în 23 februarie repeta împreună cu orchestra filarmonicii din Harkov pentru un concert care urma să aibă loc a doua zi. Apoi a început războiul.
Actually, on the 23rd, I rehearsed with the orchestra, with the Kharkov Philharmonic. I rehearsed the piece, but I was supposed to play on the 24th. And things happened. What happened? It just woke up. Everyone in Kharkiv woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because of the bombing. Yeah, and no one could expect. And I could also stay in Brussels, where I'm studying and preparing for the competition. No one could expect it. It was just scary at the moment. It's just, you don't know. You never heard this kind of sound, and. A little bit scared, and then you think about your mother and sister also, just what to do, what the right way to do, because of course, as a man who is 28 years old, I knew that I will not cross the border, not be able to cross the border because of the mobilization, and still I decided to jump in my car and go to the west, to Lemberg, to try to somehow catch up with the time to cross the border, because with cello and stuff, and but I couldn't.
You couldn't?
I couldn't, because it was too late. It took me a lot of time to drive there, and just terrible. Everyone was leaving, so the traffic was insane, and it took me just to drive there. It took me 30 hours, but usually takes, I don't know, 12.
So what did you do?
I just left Kharkiv, unfortunately without my mom and sister, because they said there will be baggage, they will disturb me, and they really wish that I will cross the border so as fast as possible. What did I do? Nothing. I just came to Lemberg, and on the radio I heard that there is a mobilization, so I knew that I could not cross the border anymore, and just came to Lemberg, spent a couple of days, then met Valery there, he was there. We went to Uzhgorod, which is next to Slovakia, trying to find a place to stay. And of course we couldn't, because everyone from Ukraine, everyone from the east were trying to find a place to stay, to hold on, just to survive there. And we couldn't. We spent 3 days sleeping on some funny mattress, and in the cold area. I don't know, it was probably like plus 12 or something like that. But it was all fine with the old instruments, we have and stuff.
You took your instruments with you?
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, it's not my instrument. It's a very nice instrument now. It was given to me for private honor for the competition, so I can play on a better instrument. Then luckily we found a place we could stay, and we spent there 1 month until someone just helped us to. I mean, as a musician, we can fight. As a musician, the ministerial, someone, I don't know, someone helped us just to cross the border. So now we are here.
Concertul susținut de cei doi artiști ucraineni a fost dedicat compozitorului clasic vienez Ludwig van Beethoven. Alături de ei, pe scena sălii mari a Palatului Culturii din Târgu Mureș, a urcat și pianista Maria Diana Petrache, precum și Orchestra Simfonică a Filarmonicii de Stat, dirijată de Radu Postăvaru.
I think with organization of Târgu Mureș Philharmonic, we have been planning a Beethoven concert for a while. First, there was a COVID thing, now it's military conflict, but Beethoven stays alive and grows through all the difficulties. It will be a Beethoven concert, in fact, one of the biggest masterpieces of all time, the Triple Concerto, with a wonderful Romanian pianist, and with my great friend, Ukrainian cellist Alexei Shadrin, who is a wonderful cellist, young cellist coming out of Ukraine, who is studying in Brussels. And the second half will be the symphony. So it's an all Beethoven program full of great music and uplifting mood in these difficult times.
Just a fantastic piece of music written by Beethoven, genius, beautiful music, and just to I wish people could close their eyes and just to enjoy the music, and we will try our best to perform well.
Will you think of Ukraine while playing?
I'm Ukrainian, so I naturally think of my own country, but I also will be very grateful for so many people that has been on our side, so many people personally that has been on our side. Not only institutions and volunteers and everything, but just so many people have shown a real human touch to things, and those are the people that I'm very grateful that accepted so many refugees, so many women and children, and tried to help them in every possible way. That's really civilized world. So that I would be for a long time very grateful for.
În aceste vremuri dificile, muzica s-a dovedit a fi un medicament pentru suflet.
Of course, it's helping. It's the way to forget, not forget, but to absorb your mind from something which is terrible. For me, it's helpful.
Music has not been something which has come back easily through this rather difficult emotions, and slowly but surely it's coming back. So I'm glad to be doing what I'm normally best at, so doing my job. So, and hopefully that the emotions which I experienced before doing music will come back in this way or in a different way. But it has not been easy with music. It has not been easy with the violin itself, touching the instrument, playing it. We played the concert before leaving in the Hungarian part of Ukraine, so in the city of Uzhgorod. We played a Bach concert. It has not been easy, to be honest. It has not been straightforward. So I'm looking forward to normalizing the relationship with instrument, relationship with music, relationship with colleagues in the real world, because at the moment in Ukraine, this is not a real world scenario. It's really a global tragedy and people are suffering, and I suffer for them just the same. A lot of people have been doing benefit concerts all over Europe, very famous people, young people, people who have just initiative and raising money and sending money, of course, on a global terms and also on private terms through people that know where to send this money, how this can be helped. So I think as an activity, this is a very helpful thing. As to music personally, of course music helps. Of course music helps. I remember people just having spent 2-3 weeks under bombardment in Kharkiv, coming finally to the West. These are women, so they could travel onwards, but they stayed in the Western Ukraine and visited this concert. Just very personally, just to breathe out, basically, just have a moment of serenity and pure experience, just to get away from danger, And I saw that it did mean a lot to those people who came to this small Bach concert. So I was happy. At least there's something. We all have to do something now, a little bit, by to each other. So if that helped, I'm very grateful. In any case, as musicians, we have to go on and work and send more money, send more support, and I know that our group is doing that as much as we can. We were doing that, helping Ukrainian music before the war, and we would do that during the war, and we'll do it after the war. So I'm just very lucky to have the opportunity to continue my mainstream work, which is, of course, in the West and outside my country.
We all saw that Ukrainians are keen on culture because they were trying to protect the monuments, the buildings that are historic. I think culture is very important to your people.
Well, they are full of their own regional culture, and of course they are longing, especially the western side of Ukraine, longing for a classical music culture, to be up to the level of their neighbors, at least Romania with UNESCO Festival, Hungary and Slovakia, and with many prominent artists coming from all those countries. So yes, it's a normal process. And anyway, it was very active. In Lemberg alone there are 5 symphony orchestras, and in Kiev also national orchestras, national opera orchestras, etc. There, like in any big country, there's everything going on. Unfortunately, it's all being disturbed to the point where it is quite difficult to comprehend the whole thing. So, from my point of view, yeah, we are having to work onwards and help as much as we can our colleagues and younger students, younger generation. That's what we are doing. That's what group of people that I'm involved with, we are doing on a regular basis.
How do you feel about the fact that Russian artists across Europe are banned, like musicians, filmmakers and so on, are not allowed to participate in events and competitions?
I think it's, first of all, a political question is not something I am entitled to talk, as I always try to stay away from any of those subjects. I do not feel like I'm the one to make justice or justifications, because I just don't have that kind of idea about myself that I'm the one to judge any situation. However, the current situation is not over yet, so at least the first thing is to stop people from suffering, and then the rest is less important. So I would say I would say we still have to live and see how the situation develops, because that's the most important right now.
Dacă Valeri Sokolov a mai performat pe scenele din România, în 2005 câștigând marele premiu al festivalului George Enescu, dar și premiul pentru cea mai bună interpretare, precum și premiul Fundației Enescu, Alexei Șadrin a ajuns pentru prima oară în țara noastră.
You know, I've been to Serbia and I've been to Hungary and all those countries next to Ukraine and next to Romania. So I kind of could expect something similar, you know. But I really like it. I really like it, and the road was very funny because we flew to Cluj, and then we took a taxi to Târgu Mureș, and I thought there was gonna be a highway, you know. And we drove some really, you know, this between the villages, these small streets. It's up and down, you know. It's nice. And I wish to the Romanian people, and especially for the old people in this world, that you will never have a war in your country or just in the world. Let's hope for peace. It's much better.
It's your biggest wish.
Yes. The worst. There's nothing worse than war.
I first of all have a message to those wonderful Romanians who are taking care, in general, to Romania as a country, which I love deeply from a very early age, from the Ionescu competition, and in general Transylvania, which was my first concert outside Bucharest, age 19. So from me, the message is I'm very grateful to Romania for having been part of my life so close. But for those who are here first time, I think they just should appreciate all this incredible hospitality at these difficult times, and try to experience the different life which Romania is living, and get away from the difficulties, and be as grateful as they could to those who are hosting them so nicely. That's my message to those who are here, not by will but by circumstances.